Tonight I want to talk to everyone about traditional values. I feel that today it is being used as a euphemism for hate speech. It's often, in my perception, being used today as justification for being against certain things as gay rights, gay marriage, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's supposed to tap into our view that, hey, things were great in the past, but the problem is this country is evolving. This country has always been evolving. If we'd stuck to traditional values, we'd still be run by slave owners. Women wouldn't have the rights to vote. Certainly anybody who wasn't white couldn't vote or anything of that nature. But the country has evolved. We had civil rights in the 60s. We had the suffragette movement, which is for women's voting. Back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, we ended slavery. All these came from public debates. And I am in no way suggesting the people who speak about traditional values should stop. Personally, my feeling is they should shut up. But the thing is, we need to hear them. The problem is that they are rallying a lot of people behind them based on misused perceptions. People like Rick Santorum, for example, he's pretty much against anything gay. Or non-traditional, as he puts it, which would be the single man, single woman marriage that probably should have kids in his mind. But he answers questions like, why are you against gay marriage? By asking if we should be for other things that are not related directly. Things like polygamy, things like bestiality and stuff like that. He doesn't answer the question directly. And that is troublesome. I have a problem with the 1 Million Moms movement that recently tried to get Ellen DeGeneres fired as the spokesperson for JCPenney. Who cares if she's gay? She's popular. She's a great spokesperson because she's popular. And she's middle of the road, in my opinion. Her comedy is not to my taste, but she's mainstream. Who cares what she does in her private time? I'm a big follower of George Takei. He's got a blog that says, it's okay to be Takei. And he's another one who's very openly gay. But I don't follow him because he's gay. I don't follow him because if he were straight, I wouldn't follow him. I follow him because he's a really funny guy. I find no surprise when anybody turns out to be gay. It's not something that's ever bothered me. I can give you my background because I feel that this traditional value stuff also can be related to who I am and where I came from. Biologically speaking, I say that because I was adopted. I had a black father. I had a white mother who also was Jewish. I was adopted by a white Jewish upper middle class suburban family in a very Jewish neighborhood where we had a high percentage of Jewish people compared to other parts of the country. And if they'd held to traditional values, then I would not have been conceived, born, or adopted. And if I were, then I would have been an outcast because of my background. It was against traditional values of the day. Because I was conceived in 1969 and born in 1970. So traditional values is, to me, nowadays synonymous when it's used publicly for prejudice. Of any kind. Doesn't matter if they're being prejudiced against gay people today, because the same kind of prejudice was against black people, it was against women, it was against Asians. World War II, Asians or Japanese specifically, were put into camps because they were Japanese and we were fighting the Japanese. They're, of course, slaves and so on and so forth, and now it's about gay rights. Personally, I feel that they have the right to do whatever they want to do. They're not doing anything illegal. And they can't be equated with doing anything illegal. And I applaud the state of California for claiming that that proposition that took gay marriage from legal to illegal was unconstitutional. Let it get to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court finally end this public debate about partnerships. Personally, I also disagree with the argument that, okay, give them civil unions. Give them marriage. Give them full rights. Give it a name, because Marriage doesn't have to go through a religious organization to be considered legally a marriage. A marriage can be performed by a civil judge or even technically a captain of a ship. And therefore, they don't fall under a religious requirement to be married as it once did hundreds of years ago. That is my piece, and I'm stating it publicly because my conscience states that I have to say something, even if no one's listening. This is my opinion. If they're entitled to their opinions, then I'm entitled to counter their opinion with my opinions in a positive way. Thank you for listening to me.